Hello everybody and welcome to episode 10 of Let's Play Republic the Revolution. Today we will be taking a very serious course of action. We will be doing all that we can to persuade Joseph Nazarov not to leave us behind. Since we have already lost Comrade Artem Churbanov, the situation grows ever more dire by the day. And if we do not speak to Mr. Nazarov now, we will be doomed as a movement. We must save his loyalty. And at the very same time, we must find somebody to replace Mr. Churbanov. Since, to be honest, Churbanov wasn't a fitting member of our movement from the very beginning. Perhaps we need to recruit somebody more violent to our movement. Somebody capable of taking the fight to our enemies. I'd enjoy recruiting somebody like Ivan Prochnov, who would be able quite swiftly to deal with Kalmatsov. It would, however, mean completely abandoning the basis of our movement as a workers' movement, as an anti-bourgeois one. But desperate times do indeed call for exceedingly desperate measures. We cannot afford to carry out most of our activities at this point. We need to become a more proactive movement. This is obvious to me, since at the moment we are a very, very reactive movement. Practically all of our activities, all of our actions have been taken in reaction to those of others. And I'm constantly eyeing Mr. Semyon Titov, considering whether he would make a good addition to our movement. If we were to try and recruit him, it would be the third time so far. And it would be quite humiliating for us to stoop so low as to attempt to recruit him a third time, since he's turned his back on us twice. And meanwhile, our anointing action has failed! Infinite curses upon Mr. Nazarov! May he burn in the hellfire, because he is not loyal to our movement. We've got to go headhunting. We need as well to find somebody to join our movement. I'm going to investigate the Shubnoy industrial estate. And we'll see how it goes. We'll dispatch Mr. Nazarov to take part in some more actions that he usually enjoys, fighting against the socialists to strengthen our own influence. Because at the moment, it appears that the Union of Socialist Workers will come out on top. And this scares me quite a lot. Mr. Nazarov's resolve continues to fall. We need to break the Union of Socialist Workers. This is our most pressing matter. We need to take them out, or else they will take us out instead. Because our activities are growing more and more petty, to say so myself. They are growing weaker, they are growing more and more useless, because these filthy socialists are continuing to clamp down on us. This is it. We will have to temporarily abandon our morals if we want victory. If we want to achieve superiority against these socialist rats, against these rascals who conspire against our movement. We will have to move away from the right wing. Or should I say to move towards the right wing? To move away from the left wing. To offer ourselves as a third position between the mafia and the socialists.
И сколько ни знала, ни могу я, ни вордусна, ничего, английская история бештара.
We're busy anointing Mr. Nasarov in a cult-like ceremony. It appears that it might just be successful. This is fantastic. To be honest though, the NPRM is gradually becoming a quasi-religious cult of its own. The cult of the leader, the great visionary, the nerd gamer, who shall lead the movement forward to its ultimate victory, not only against the opposition, but also against the Karasov regime, which we have lost sight of time and time again. It appears that we are only speaking now to Mr. Nasarov. This might not go as well as I expected. So Nasarov is bowing before me. We are bringing him decisively into the movement. I have no idea what's going on, but it appears negative. What's this man saying? It looks like a potential failure. I hope that it isn't, though. There is yet a chance for success, though I fear that it is growing ever slimmer by the day. It has failed. Nasarov will be lost to the movement. Such is life, if you ask me. I don't give a damn. Mr. Nasarov can go down and become the second in command of hell for all I care. Because this movement, it has been a failure from day one. That's the truth. I'm not going to deny it anymore. We are collapsing. We are miserably collapsing. Our movement is turning into a train wreck. The NPRM is on its last legs. And I hate it. I hate it with all of my heart. This is a terrible event. It's one that tears me limb from limb. And yet, it is one which is absolutely necessary. Perhaps it was destined to be like this. I'm gonna talk to Mr. Ivan Prochnov, the salesman. And I'm gonna get him to join the movement. I don't care if he is opposed to the actual goals of the NPRM, but we need him. We need him to do our dirty work. And that's the truth of the matter. Hopefully putting up some more graffiti will persuade Nasarov just how much he enjoys being a part of this movement. If not, then things will be going very badly for us from now on. Now the truth is that we're only recruiting Mr. Ivan Prochnov for the sake... Crap, what's going on here? It appears that we attempted to leave this entire conversation to the computer. This was a bad idea. Regardless, we will attempt to salvage it. We need to salvage it. We did it. We salvaged the conversation and we persuaded this man to join our movement. We've got him to do our dirty work and this is good. I'm not proud of it, but it is a necessary move. From now on we will be able to use him as a weapon. A political weapon against the enemies of our movement. Not simply a political weapon of course, but also a physical one. We will go after Moritz Kalmakov and we will take every single thing that he owns. We will be ready to take the clothes off of his back if it is so deemed necessary. Because this has descended to a life or death struggle. Ivan Prochnov, with his very high resolve, should be capable of serving the NPRM. He'll be able to increase our popularity as well as to take care of our rivals. Now let's have him go after Moritz Kalmakov and get this son of a bitch to finally shut up. This is going to be good. This is going to be great. I'm going to make sure that the Church of Novi Strana does not speak out against me ever again. Because as we see, the newest rankings are in, and we have fallen behind the Union of Socialist Workers. We have hemorrhaged over 150 points, and our movement is going south in all ways. We are going to stop this here and now. Nasarov has left the faction. Curses! I will have to recruit him again. Although I will wait a while until his resolve increases. Anyways, our movement is now effectively doomed. This much is obvious to me. Now let's see what's happening to Mr. Moritz Kalmakov. Because we're gonna teach him a lesson. He's not gonna forget this. We are going to leave him destroyed. We are going to leave him a wreck of a man. A shadow of what he used to be. He is going to regret this for the rest of his life. We have completely and utterly humiliated him. A massive success. I'm tempted to go after Nasarov once more, but I'll wait a few days. I don't want to appear too desperate, after all. Perhaps he might even come crawling back to me. Who knows? All I know is that we are starting to falter. And this is very bad. Either ways, it appears that we are on the way to breaking Mr. Kalmakov's resolve. And we must continue to do this, if we can. We'll also continue to arrange a cover-up for our actions. All in all, things are going very strangely. Our movement is very far from what I originally expected it to be. Although, to be honest, I never expected it to amount to much. I've got to continue expanding my activities. We need to at the very least hold our ground. Because if we can't do that, we can't do anything at all, and our movement might as well disband itself. So I'm personally going to give it one more try. After this, we should be able to put an end to the slanderous publications of the Church of Novi Strana once and for all. And if this doesn't work, I do not know what will. Because if the Socialists and the Church are ready to play dirty, so are we. I'm ready to do all that is necessary to break my rivals' heads, even if that means breaking their heads physically. I will cripple them. I will leave them begging, weeping, wishing that I had not decided to take action. That is the new modus operandi of the NPRM. The age of compassion is over. We are going to fight our way to a better future. And we will do whatever is necessary to achieve this better future. Another violent debt collection from Mr. Moritz Kalmakov, as he deserves if you ask me. A successful rally in Kandinsky Gardens. All that remains for us to do is to investigate and to take over Voronezh Fields and the town centre. I'll hold a rally in the socialist territory of Morozov Manor just for the sake of it. This should keep them up on their feet. At the very least, long enough for me to steal the area back from them. Because our situation is a strange and curious one indeed. One which must change if we wish to fulfill the NPRM's destiny of glory and victory. There can be no other way. We shall shatter the church, and after that we shall go after the socialists and shatter them too. Moritz Kalmakov is a miserable wreck. We are ruining his life because he asked for it. Although it may be morally wrong, I no longer allow myself to care. because the care would be too much. We have more pressing matters than that to attend to. For example, Mr. Prochnov has gained a level, which we will use to strengthen his postering skills, while also boosting his presence and his charisma. Or perhaps we'll go for his surveying skills instead, since we already have enough means to gain support. We might just be able to have him take up the space, fill up the gap which was left by Mr. Nazarov following his decision to leave. Because although we don't have any childhood connections with Mr. Prochnov, he appears to be far more effective as an organizer and as an agitator. And for the moment, that is what we need. Sentimentality has no place in the NPRM's quest for victory. And although we may attempt to recruit Joseph Nazarov once more in the future, that is not for us to consider now. What we've got to do now is to win over the population of Ekaterine by whatever means necessary. And by whatever means is a serious enough statement. Violent means, peaceful means, they don't matter to me, there is no difference whatsoever, so long as they allow us to gain superiority. We shall take over Voronezh Fields, take over the town center, and so we shall finish off our rivals. We must end the reign of terror which has been begun by the socialists, and we must do so as quickly as possible. We no longer have any explicitly left-leaning members of our movement, although this is not a problem at all. We will eventually try to re-recruit Mr. Nazarov, although that will be left for the future. Our rally has unfortunately failed. Morozov Manor will not be coming back under our control for a while. Once again though, I am unfazed. We will achieve victory. Just you wait. We must do all that we can to win back Turbina Park. And so we shall send Mr. Baturin down there to speak to the locals, to get them to join the movement. We no longer have any actions that require the use of force, for better or for worse. Perhaps we should attempt to recruit Mr. Nazarov once more. We might leave that for the next episode, or the episode after that, however. Since now, as I've said already, is too soon. Speaking about the next episode, I believe that I will be putting an end to this episode here. We have lost some ground, but we are gaining it once more. Hopefully our movement shall continue to be successful in the next episode of Republic the Revolution, since for a few moments, our existence itself was a terror. If you enjoyed the series so far, do not forget to leave a like and a comment and to subscribe to my channel, and to stay tuned for further episodes. I have been the Nerd Gamer, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye for today.